Okay, now we are going to discuss about the database system. Okay, now database system. The merit of database are the data integrity, data consistency, data redundancy, data security, data user access, also backup recovery, complexity, cost, high performance also. Three data, three schema architecture, external schema, user view, conceptual schema, logical structure, internal schema, now physical storage, also external schema, view level, represent the user specific view of the database. User group only see the data relevant to them. Example, a customer view might show up only the product detail while admin show up the inventory and the sale data. Conceptual schema describes overall logical structure of database, include entity relationship, act as bridge between internal and internal schema, define how data is stored physically and disk. Okay, now, entity is a real world object concept that can be distinctly identified. Attribute are the property or characteristic of the entity. Example, for student entity attribute would be the student ID name. Is also strong entity, weak entity exists independently as a primary key. Depend strong entity interaction. Example, student with student ID as PK. Also, order item depends on order. What is the integrity constraint also now? Weak utility also now. We are going to discuss about this. What are the integrity constraint in database? The integrity constraint equal accuracy, consistency, and reliability. Utility also now. Utility means reputable as primary and no primary key. SQL create employee ID primary key. Domino integrity. What are the functional dependency also? Now functional dependency, non-trivial FID, FID, then another also non-trivial TensorTip ID, MySQL code also. Now the owner of the resources decide the permission also. Now next one, a system enforce the based on the fixed policy. Example, user grant read write access to file. A file marked to the top secret can only be accessed by the authorized personnel. Also DAC, granting the select for permission to the user. Grant select on the database name table to user localhost. Also Mac implemented the system level, not directory in SQL. Write an ACID property of the transaction, explain the concept. Also atomicity, consistency. A transaction is treated as a single unit, either all the operations succeed or none to do. Example, transferring of money between the account, either both updates succeed or neither happens. Also now consistency, the database transistor from one valid state to another. Example, total balance in bank account remain consistent after transaction. Isolation, transaction are isolated from each other. Intermediate state are invisible to a user operating the same record. Won't interface. Durability, stretchability. Also now database system, database integrity, security, data redundancy, data independence, backup, cost, complexity, performance. Data internal schema, conceptual schema. External schema represent the physical storage of data. Describe the logical, also external entity attribute. Until the attribute to strong integrity, weak also integrity constant, utility integrity, referential integrity, domain integrity, functional dependency, FD. Also a relationship where one attribute uniquely determine another. Also trivial FD, A is to A, non-trivial FD, student ID, student name. Also transitive FD, A is to B, then B is to C, then A is to C. Difference between the discretionary access control and mandatory access control. With example, discretionary access control DAC, the owner of the resources control access. Example, the user granting access to their file. Also mandatory access control MAC. Access control is based on the fixed policy enforced by the system. Also, access property, atomicity, a transaction is atomic. It either completes full or not at all. Also, consistency, a transaction bring the database from one consistent state to another. Isolation, transaction are isolated. No transaction see immediate state. Also, durability, once the transaction is committed, it is permanent. Scalability ensure the result of executing the transaction concurrently in the same time executing them serially. Also full functional dependency. Now the dependency or attribute is fully dependent on the primary key. Partial functional dependency, a dependency where attribute is partial dependent on primary key. 2NF or table in a record second normal form. If it is in 1F has no partial dependency. 3NF or table in the third normal form. If it is 3 and f, also inner join combine the row from both table where there is a match. Left join combine all the row from the left table method. Also now right join combine all the row in the right table. Full join also now select from order left from customer id also consider the table with SQL query. Also book table, book ID, title, publisher date. Also price, book author table, book author, book ID, author name, brewer table, brewer card number, name, address. Also now from select book table, book issue. Also now find the name of book taken by the Ramesh Sharma. Select book table. Also from book issue on book ID equals to book issue dot book ID. Zone brewer on book issue card number, brewer card number. Also where brewer name equals to Ramesh Sharma. Now a book issue between the 15th May and due to after the 15th June. Also from book title, book issue. Also join book table where issue date. Also now find the brewer name whose was taken by the last person deputy. Select book brewers from brewer where book attribute. Also select come from book issue where book issue. Also now select brewer. Also now brewer when join brewer where book price we select average price from book. What is DBMS database? Definition: the database management system is a software that facilitates in the creation, management, and manipulation of the database. It provides the interface of the user to interact with the data stored in the database. Advantage: data integrity, data security, data independence, co-currency control. Disadvantage: cost, complexity, performance, tree schema, internal schema, conceptual, external. Database administrator essential for managing, maintaining, and securing the database. Database design and architecture, ensuring the data integrity, performance, turning, optimization, manage backup and recovery, user access control. Indexing, dense index, sparse index also. Now, assist, property, atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. ER diagram, attribute, student ID, name, age, course, enrollment, also DDM and DML. First normal form, second normal form, hierarchical model, network model, relational model, object model. Mm, okay, how with the graph also, each node represents transaction in each also. If there is deadlock detected, transaction T1. How to read and write operation performed with the transaction, read operation, write operation, active, partially committed, fail, aborted. Now see seller ID, boot ID, name, with reserve ID, reserve date, relational algebra, name rating also, SQL query, select name rating, age from seller also, SQL name, color, boot also. Select boat reserve also now, boat name, SQL query, reserve date also now. Book boat also now, select seller, reserve boat, use left right outer, seller reserve also, seller reserve, SQL query, left outer join, seller name also, from seller, left outer, right outer join, from seller, right outer join, reserve also now. Ear diagram of your choice. The ear diagram should contain at least 5 intility. Out of those, intility 1 should be weak intility, and your intility must have the appropriate attribute, including key attribute, if any. And there should be the presence of one relationship also. Now, customer ID, PK, name, email, order, PK, order date, total, product ID, PK, product name, price, employee ID, PK, name, position, payment ID, PK, payment method, also weak utility, order item, FK, product ID, quantity depends on other, also relationship, one to many, or many, a customer can replace many, order, many to many, and order can contain many product, also data store to create precedence, resign, select, in, also trigger. A trigger is a special kind of store procedure that automatically execute in response to the certain event, also. Example: insert trigger for each row, again signal square also. Now example of the trigger after create, trigger after instance for each row, also update customer set total also. Now what is DBMS? Database management system is a software that allow for the creation, manipulation, and maintenance of the database. It provides the systematic way of managing, organizing the data, data integrity, security, data redundancy, data independence, backup, recovery, data model, hierarchical model, network model, relational model, object-oriented model, interrelationship model. Also, what is indexing? It is used to speed up the retrieval operation, provide a quick mechanism, dense index, context and index, also sparse index, materialize evaluation, pipeline evaluation, lost update, dirty read, also time step ordering. What are the advantage and disadvantage? Also advantage: encapsulate the logic with improved reusability, reduce client server communication, can be complex, it can reduce the flexibility, patient ID, name, DOB, appointment ID, hospital ID, also appointment, doctor one, hospital, also total participation. Normalization: the process of organizing the data into the database to avoid the redundancy and ensure the data integrity. Now, the first normal form ensure that the database table has no repeating also. Consider the database system with the following schema: restaurant name, specialty, cook name, specialty also. Now, relational schema, database name, relational name also find the working hour, cook name Sita also now cooked by Ramesh. Relational schema used to join the schema table restaurant or food category breakfast is available. Relational schema real name category breakfast worked at a restaurant. SQL also now select distinct restaurant also now database system is the software that allow the retrieval, update, and management of the database. It provides the systematic way to store, manage and access the data. Merit also data integrity and security ensure that the data is accurate, consistent, and secure. Data redundancy and elimination avoid the duplication data. Now data sharing allow the multiple user to access and share data. Also complexity managing and maintaining a DBMS system can be complex also. Now high cost associated with implementation and maintenance. Performance can be slow for certain types of query due to overhead also. Now three schema architecture: internal schema, physical storage of the data of the other; conceptual, the logical view of entire database abstracting the physical detail; also external schema, the user view which focus on different user view; also utility, an object is a thing that real world has distinct existence. For example, a student or a car also. Now, attribute are the property or the characteristic of utility. For example, student name, ID, and weak utility set and weak utility depend on the strong utility for its identification. Example, dependent on employee also. What are why integrity constant are using database explain the types of integrity constant. Okay, utility integrity, referential integrity, domain integrity. So now functional dependency also. What is what is the property of transaction atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability also? Why normalization is required in the database? Normalization is the process of organizing the data and avoid the redundancy and improve the data integrity. First normal form or table. In the first normal form is no repeating group also. Second normal form, third normal form, now participation constant also, total participation, partial participation. Now here diagram above also. Now this one also, what is database relationship, database independence also. Now two phase logging protocol, what types of concurrency, first normal form, second normal form, what is database, explain the importance also. Now here this much for today.